Hello everyone, welcome to my channel, welcome to Unicorn Light Tarot. Whether you are brand new here, whether you are a new subscriber, or whether you have been here for a while, welcome one and all. Such a pleasure to be here for you today. Hope you're doing amazingly well. Today we have a wonderful reading. Which goddess has a message for you? So we have three goddesses today. We are working with the goddess Hecate, or Hecate, or Hecate, if you are a fan of Shakespeare. She is the queen of witches, a beautiful goddess. And then for our second goddess, we are working with Lilith. I call her the First Lady. So we will be working with Lilith. So that's your pile 2. And for pile 3, we have Mary Magdalene. Now, a lot of you might think, well, Mary Magdalene is not technically a goddess. Totally fine, beg to differ. She is in my mind, but you know, I'm kind of bending the rules maybe a little bit, but rules are meant to be bent or broken, right? I guess on this channel they are. So we have Hecate, we have Lilith, and we have our beautiful Mary Magdalene. So very different energies we will be working with today and getting you messages from really the divine feminine in different ways. So as always, take as much time as you need to come back to you. The more aligned you are with your own intuition, the more these readings are going to resonate. So if you need to go off, do your own thing to come back to you, come back to your own alignment, then feel free to put us on pause. And as always, the timestamps will be listed down below for your convenience. So let's go ahead and put aside Lilith, sounds strange saying that, and Mary Magdalene for now. We will be back with both those lovely ladies. And for now, for those of you who chose pile 1, aka our beautiful goddess Hecate here, Hecate. I always like saying Hecate, but there are many different ways to say her name. So we're just gonna, for a moment, and really move into her energy, which is very specific for those of you who have worked with her. So we've got the Fragment card, we've got the Fledgling, and we have Letting Go. So I've just strewn the cards sort of all around. Now I'm going to move this, our beautiful candle, back a little bit so we have more room. So this is sort of a theme in the collective right now, so I'm not surprised that it came up, but it's all about gathering fragments of soul from the darkness. Now I want to be very clear about when we say the darkness, we're not saying evil, we're not even saying shadow work. We're saying from places that were previously hidden from you, but you're ready to now go into and shine light into. They are places that even in the shadows, there is illumination because you're bringing your own light. There are a lot of answers and messages in there. Now, this is on a very specific kind of form, but taking it to the collective, it also means that stepping into your power and moving in a direction that you haven't moved in before. Really solidifying your beautiful process in your mind, choosing different ideas, moving in different directions, changing things up, being true to you, of course, at all times, but yeah, changing things up, coming out of comfort zone here. You're absolutely ready to do that. Now, it's always good to come out of one's comfort zone a little bit, but you know, this is not about pushing. Sometimes when we push before we're ready, we get these mixed results and things can sometimes feel a little flat. That's not what we're saying. It's not really necessary to do that, even part of the healing process. You know, you're being pulled in a certain way. Just listen to your gut, listen to your intuition, listen to your soul. I'll tell you what, you know, what's ready to be sort of incorporated. Sometimes when we move too far or we move too forward, we're in a hurry to get there, somewhere, or quote unquote heal, right? We're already healed, you know, we're already whole, but to get somewhere, just sort of to have the payoff, it doesn't really work out. But this is very much in alignment with your own soul. This is very much in alignment with listening to who you are, but it's more about listening to the whispers. It's more about listening sort of in the darkness. It's more about going where you haven't gone before. And again, you are ready. Otherwise, this would not come up in the reading. You're absolutely ready to put yourself in this position. There's nothing to fear. Again, this is not about sort of doing shadow work in any way. This is not about the darkness or evil. This is about incorporating every aspect of oneself, but really understanding yourself, your soul at a soul level from the darkness rather from the light. There's so much for us to learn from the darkness also. There's a lot of gifts that a lot of you have that you already have, but moving it again forward is about incorporating the darkness and really sort of having joy in the purpose too. Now, don't do anything that makes yourself feel uncomfortable, but those of you who chose Hecate, you know, sort of know about her energy, or at least are interested in her energy. You know, sort of the queen of the underworld in a way, of, you know, of the dark corners, of the crossroads, right? Taking the road sort of less traveled, but really taking pride in that too, not wanting to be the same as everybody else, really incorporating yourself in your authenticity and standing in it, and really incorporating sort of the beauty that makes you you, that maybe might be misunderstood by others, maybe, you know, because it's been in the darkness and you've kept it in the darkness because of disapproving or disapproval, or at the very least not being understood. How much of ourselves do we keep in the darkness because of misunderstandings, because we're not being seen, because we're going to be misunderstood, right? Pretty much all of us, one way or another. But it's about going in, delving deep. Again, not doing deep work, but delving deep and going into really incorporating those parts of yourself and seeing this amazing sort of glitter and jewels in and around this energy, and incorporating that into who you are and moving off in different directions, taking different choices. Again, make sure those choices are in alignment. Always listen to your intuition, but doing things in a slightly different way. Not being afraid to go off on the beaten, off on the less track, the less beaten path, if that's a thing. Also, some of you, or a lot of you, are looking to move forward in some ways, and some of you are looking into new business ideas. Now, the business ideas that you already have are absolutely brilliant. If you have them, don't go ahead and abandon them just because of this reading or anything like that. But the way in which you incorporate your energy and show up in the world is about incorporating sort of from a different level, from a really deep level, and owning that part of you too. It sort of makes you invincible in a way, right? So let's see what else we have here too. Yeah, you've got the High Priestess of Earth here. You've got community coming in, really delving deep into that beautiful darkness. And you've got the House of Night, belonging, coming into that aspect of self and really not being afraid to show it. You know, it goes beyond, and I've said this on the channel before, you know, letting your freak flag fly. That you should always do anyway, you know, being authentic, and really standing on your own 2 feet and encompassing everything that you are. But this goes a little bit deeper. This goes into really incorporating those deep aspects of self that you keep for, you know, those entertaining situations when you realize that, you know, when you say something, it's not going to fall on deaf ears. People will appreciate it, that dark sense of humor, that darkness in you, holding it to the light, or holding it to yourself, holding it to your heart. There's messages and there's answers for you, especially the way in which you've moved forward. The way in which you've moved forward before has not been wrong or terrible in any way. It's been wonderful. It's worked for you. But there's an easier path to move forward. And it's about incorporating who you are to get there. And that also means incorporating and working sort of with the darkness in a way. Now, this may mean a little bit different for each and every one of you. For some of you, it's really working sort of with the ego. There's a lot we can learn from our ego. Sometimes when we get stuck in the ego, we get stuck into this really inflexibility. There's only one way to see things. There's only one way to do things. Making friends with your ego down in that darkness really opens and expands everything up for you, where you can see sort of other avenues and other ways to move forward that you could not have seen before. And for those of you who are thinking about moving forward in some way or another, or venturing forward, doing something a little bit different, but you're feeling as though you're not sure how to move forward, the answer probably lies again in the whispering, in the parts of yourself that you've acknowledged for sure, but you haven't delved too deeply yet. And if you have, there's ways to go back there and really incorporate that beauty that is you. So this seems to be sort of a theme. So I'm not surprised that Hecate is even talking about this right now. There's a theme about really pulling together all of our fragments, but finding them in the darkness. And there's different ways too. As you find different aspects of yourself in the darkness, you'll also find the correlation of it in the subconscious. You'll find it in sort of in the outer, in the external world, in the collective too. So as you find them and integrate them, you'll be able to let go of parts of the collective that might be bothering you or triggering you. This is how it's done, right? So you've got Athena, you've got Justice here with the High Priestess, and you've got the Six of Pentacles move forward using your strengths and your beauty, but really incorporating that beauty. And also the other thing that we want to talk about too, it's not just the darkness that you're talking about, it's really the mystery of life, right? What is sort of relatively unknown for most people, but not really unknown for you. It's a way to bring it up to the surface with authority and stand behind it, because a lot of what you want to do and put out in the world is incorporated into this understanding, and you don't want to be misunderstood. Nobody does, right? Nobody wants to not be seen, and to be truly celebrated. It's about going in deep and gathering those fragments. Again, it's not like it's a fragmented personality. There's a lot of things to do. You know, as we say in this channel a lot, don't go down the rabbit hole of all this healing that you need to do, but bring in those aspects of yourself that really incorporate the mystery. So when you stand for it, nobody can move you. You're immovable. Even when people come in and say, you know, you're wrong, this has happened, or there's only one way to do it, you're doing it wrong, or you're evil, or you're this, that, and the other, you just be like, thank you very much for your opinion. That's wonderful. You know, that if that works for you, and that's the you know, the road that you have decided to travel upon, then I wish you good luck. It is not my road though. And it is not your road, without a shadow of a doubt. Yeah, moving through those old sort of systematic sort of collective programmings that we have about the darkness, that we have about the dark goddesses, that we have about standing in that power from the darkness. Even in spirituality, you know, go to the light, be in this, and then we have a lot of, then we go too far and then we move into spiritual bypassing. That's definitely not you. But then we go too much into the shadows, and we're in the shadows, and we're constantly looking for more to bring up, and we're constantly doing shadow work and staying in the shadows. This is a way for you to listen to those whispers sort of in the wind and really incorporate both of those. With that balance will only look good for you. That will only make sense to you, because each one of you will balance in your own way. It's not like half light, half darkness. It's not going to quite work like that. It's about where you encompass all of your strength, right? And how you come into the totality of you in your true authenticity. And some of you, like you know, your hands, some of you is constantly living in that darkness, and that's not a bad thing, because it's unknown to some people, but it's not unknown to you. And also, as you delve further into it, having that security and knowing who you are and standing in that authenticity means that as you work with your guides, again, you are protected in a way, because you're not holding that fear of parts of yourself anymore. So moving forward with this autonomy, with this real strength that you have, reaching in to elements of that darkness and having fun with it. Having fun with really understanding where that programming comes from society. Oh, I got that from that, and this is, oh, and this is working, and that's working, and oh, I see it now, and you can release it because you see it for what it is. Working with the archetype of the ego, how your ego specifically works with you, and each and every one of you will be slightly different because you've all had different experiences in the world. You've got different karma, you've worked through different soul contracts, you've had different past lives. You know, working with your ego that tells you one thing where you say, well, actually, no, that's not how this is. But, you know, the ego for some of you has been sensing that this work is coming in for you, and it's been making you a little bit nervous about, not nervous about going in to do it, but wondering how necessary it really is. And for you, it's up to you. You have to decide how necessary it is. You have to decide. But, you know, when you come out of this understanding that it's, you know, really over focusing on it, and really instead of just delving in and having fun, and again seeing it as the unknown, the mystery, and a lot of this mystery and a lot of this unknown, like a lot of the alchemical stuff and a lot of this magic that you have, comes in from ancient times, comes in from past lives. It's going to be integrated with you already. So as you go into this darkness and you start exploring sort of on your own terms, where you're comfortable, of course, and you always listen to your intuition, right? Always listen to your intuition. But, you know, also listen, and you can sort of start differentiating and start really deciphering where your ego is trying to quote unquote protect you, where you don't need protection, and where you're like, all right, let's just back off for a minute and see what we're doing. You can really find your strength in that way. And for you, finding your strength beyond the ego, right? You can find that sort of in the darkness, but there's a lot that's unknown, but not unknown to you, and bringing it up sort of to the surface. Again, you can really pull your roots down and sort of Mother Gaia and really get in there and just say, no, this is what I'm doing. I really understand it. I actually, now we're not suggesting in a million years that you go off and become Aleister Crowley, you know, or Crowley. He had a very specific purpose in his life, and he dedicated his life to that purpose with dark magic and went off in his own direction. That sent him pretty much insane. That's not what we're saying. And we're not deciphering between light and dark. They're one and the same. They're just different degrees of it, right? And again, we're not talking about evil. We're not talking about any of that stuff. We're talking about just seeing, and it's not the opposite, it's just a different version of light, right? Just a little bit different on the scale, how that works for you, how that alchemy works for you, everything that you've known and you've seen, all of your knowledge, how can it be applied if you apply it through darkness first? What more comes up for you? You're going to find a lot of nuggets down there too, and also the way in which you move forward in your career, the next move that you make, all of that comes in from knowledge from the darkness. It could be really interesting for you, but it's really about holding space for who you are and standing for that too, and standing for other people also, where, you know, we want to remind you that you're bringing back sort of ancient wisdom, right? You're bringing back ancient wisdom that is pre-Christian, that already existed, that was neither good nor bad, neither evil nor good, right? It was deemed evil at some point. And standing in that power is what you have the chance to do now, and discover it for yourself on an individual level, integrating it on an individual level, and also pulling it apart and finally letting go on letting go of that integration of it being evil on a personal level and also on a collective level, because it's held in the collective, right? No disrespect to Christians, but, you know, it's unfortunately this type of magic has been done for, because it's, you know, the Bible has been worked in that way. But we're working with the goddess Mary Magdalene, and of course she was her own person in the Gnostic Gospels too, and originally in the Bible and then taken out. So there's, you know, don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. There's nothing wrong with Christianity. There's nothing wrong with the Bible. It's just a book that's been used in a way to sort of demonize all of this, and this is a way for you to bring it up integrate it on your own level should you decide that you want to. And this might be triggering for some people, this reading. It might be triggering for some people, right? And that's fine. You know, it's all about how you work with that triggering. Why are you being triggered by it? What's going on with it? What do you have to figure out in your own self? You know, try not to project onto the external, right? Try to look within and say, why are we being triggered? Why is this happening? But, you know, for those of you who are not being triggered, this is a time for you to really claim that space for yourself and get that clarity about moving forward. Again, the way in which you move forward is, it's going to look different for each and every one of you, but it's going to be, again, off the beaten path. It's going to, you're going to have this, this beautiful sort of conversation with the darkness. You're going to have this beautiful conversation with the unknown, and you're going to bring it up to the surface. So it's even though you bring it to the surface, it won't completely be known. There'll always be a little bit of that mystery, and that's wonderful. You're going to be able to work with that, and with that mystery, you're going to be able to visualize exactly what you want, and that's the energy around you to bring in your next step, and this beautiful energy of success that you're looking to gather. And success, again, will look different for each and every one of you, but success really looks, for most of you, if not all of you, building your own beautiful community of like-minded spirits, and really being completely whole in your own being, knowing exactly who you are and not dumbing down any element of it, right? And just really standing in your own power. And yeah, if some people are intimidated by you, then so be it, but you can own that power in your own way. So let's do this. But yeah, the time is right for you to do this with the High Priestess of Earth. And again, anchoring in to your soul, who it is that you are becoming. And you are becoming, you're becoming yourself, really. You're becoming yourself. There's elements of you that's coming back, but that mystery and that beauty is coming back. You're belonging to yourself, right? And all of those mysteries of life that you wanted to pursue before coming into a way that's just going to open up for you like a sort of a black rose blossoming, and give you so many paths for you to go on. You know, as you're at the crossroads with our goddess Hecate, you can go in any direction, and when she's walking with you, you're going to be fine. So let's go ahead. I know these, let's see, I don't want those cards to be wiped out for you. I want to be able to see them. But you've got a lot of power around you right now, and you are absolutely ready to be able to do this. Now, this reading, regardless of when you come across this reading, because it will be timeless, but this reading is going out on the 11/11 portal. Right? So if you do come across this reading, you've got focus, absolutely focus your energy, and even then you've got fire. Again, utilizing that fire, bringing it up and being able to really focus it in places that you wanted to before, but you held back a little bit. You held back. You've got denial here, and you've got what? You've got growth. So this is all, you know, we want to be clear. It's not that you were denying aspects of yourself. It's just, you know, again, you were working through karma. You were working through stuff. It wasn't time to go into this energy at the time. You know, it just wasn't. And also, you did notice the way people treated you. For some of you, that was a really big deal. You wanted to be seen, but you want to be seen for who you are. So this is all about you gathering all those pieces of you together and saying, this is who I am. And standing in that energy does something. It's almost like Thor's hammer, right? Goes down, and it puts out all that energy out into the world. Soul family can feel it. Everybody can feel it. You just standing in your energy. It creates this direct path to what it is that you want without any blockages, right? Just by standing in your own authenticity. Also a way for you to use your fire and your passion in a way that utilizes every aspect of yourself. So you're not blocking anything. You're just saying, this is who I am. It takes a huge amount of courage, a lot of guts to be able to do that, because, you know, People are not going to understand every aspect of you. They're just not, you know, and some people will be intimidated by you. And you're not here to be liked by everybody, but you are here to be loved by yourself. You are here to claim every aspect of yourself. And you are here to work in the darkness. You are here to work in the unknown. You are here to work in the mystery arts. That's what you're here to do too, because it's not so much of a mystery for you. Right? That's where a lot of your answers lie. So if the ego is coming up and just sort of, you know, back off from here, this not, you know, just listen to the ego, sure, and then give it a new path. You know, that's, yeah, we're going to direct your energy. We don't need this right now, but listen to your intuition and to your alignment, because it'll tell you exactly where you are. And all of this stuff too about, you know, don't open yourself up to the darkness. All this stuff is happening. That only happens when you don't understand yourself and you're not completely two-footed, rooted in who you are, in your authenticity, knowing the difference between energy, subtle and not, and knowing who you're channeling and knowing what energy you're working with. You know, you only get messed up on that when there's still fear in your heart and you're not claiming all aspects of the darkness. Yeah, you can get misled and go in all sorts of different directions. Absolutely. But when you're really claiming it and you have the chance to do it now, there's nothing that can touch you, right? So pretty intense reading, not surprised at all, but that's what we have for you, Pile 1. All you Hecate's assistants or goddesses too. So we are sending you an incredible amount of love, incredible amount of beauty. Shine your light any way that you want to. We're sending you so much support for exactly who you are and where you are in the world right now. Sincerely hope you enjoyed this reading. And until we meet again, take care. Bye-bye. Hey, welcome Pile 2, or for those who chose Lilith, as she's known in this house as the First Lady. The first woman. The only woman. So we have our, let's see, we have everything we need here. I'm going to put the flame back just a little bit. I'm going to start with your beautiful messages here from Lilith. So let's see what we have for you. I'm going to start off with these oracle cards. And then we shall move on to the Goddess Tarot, one of my favorite tarots. Okay, let's start with the middle. So you have fear, you have the Swan, transformation, trusting that your psychic or the psychic gifts here. And you have the Butterfly, you have the Beauty. Absolutely gorgeous. Give me 1 second while I go ahead and move the camera ever so slightly. I feel as though, all right, that's a bit better. It just feels as though it's on a tilt. We don't want to do that. All right, so lots of stuff going on in the collective, which is what this is coming up for. So the main thing here, the main message for you, obviously we will be digging a little bit deeper about this, but bringing beauty into the world. Everything that you do is to bring beauty into the world, right? It's just, and it's not about being beautiful. It's really being able to see the layers of beauty and what is beauty. We can see so much beauty in chaos, right? It takes a hell of a lot of discipline and courage to be to be able to see the beauty in chaos. But there is beauty in chaos, right? You are here to really decipher the beauty in every situation and to be able to bring it to the forefront. That's what you do. You're going to be able to do it on an individual level. You're going to be able to do it for others. You're going to be able to do it for the collective level. And this is you honing into that really huge aspect of your personality to be able to do that. Now, in order to do that, there is meaning to and moving into and allowing this essence of transformation to take place. Now, here's the thing. We're going to do a little real talk, because that always happens when we have Lilith in the house, right? She's a straight shooter, right? A lot of you have been going through a lot of transformation, and a lot of you are a little nervous. All right, straight talking. A lot of you are not allowing the last part of the transformation to happen. It's going to happen anyway, kiddo. Just trust us. It's going to happen anyway. You can go kicking or screaming, or you can just allow it to happen. Everything is sort of falling away. And yes, you're right. Nothing's going to look the same again. It just isn't. So whether you walk away from things or people that aren't working, or whether they fall away anyway, because once your energy and your vibration's at a certain height, or it's somewhere, whatever is not vibrating with you anymore, it just leaves. It just leaves. You don't have to do anything, right? So that's what I always say. If you don't want to confront certain situations that aren't happening for you, that you really don't want to confront, just vibrate higher. They'll automatically leave. It'll automatically fall away, or something will happen in that existence where you can't go on anymore. It gives you this, you're done. You're forced to move on anyway, right? So if you don't like confrontation, there is a way not to have confrontation in a way, but it means leveling up. So there's an essence of transformation that you're sensing that's there, and it's not that you're fearful in any way. You know, you want what you want, and you know it's inevitable, but you're also making it a little bit difficult for you, and you're also slowing down the process because you sense that it can go at lightning speed, and that's part of the fearful part of it, right? So practical ways we try to sort of support you in Unicorn Light Tarot. One way that you can do is concentrate on the beauty. Concentrate on why it is that you are here, to bring the beauty and to see the beauty in absolutely every single person, every single situation, no matter what. Again, takes a vast amount of courage and an incredible amount of insight. Most people do not do that. Everybody has the capability of doing it, but it takes action. It takes a lot, right? And a lot of people don't want to do it. Oh, that's ugly. They're ugly. They want to sit in judgment. That's fine. Let them do it. You know, they have every right. Earth is a free will zone. We don't get to say what other people are doing, you know, but we do get to choose for ourselves, and we do get to say, I don't want to do that. I don't want to be like that. I don't want to do that. We're here on Earth to see everything that's beautiful. And that's not to say that you're, you know, spiritual bypassing. You're not figuring out that, you know, things, you know, everything's beautiful. Oh my God, we're going to live in happy land. Far from it. You know, we're just going to put that out there, even though if you've clicked on this is not who you are. You wouldn't do that anyway. You've been through the depths of hell and back. You know what it looks like. You can describe hell's walls intimately. You know them. So that's not who you are. You're going to claim every aspect of yourself. And you're only able to do this kind of work. You're only able to have this kind of vision if you've been from hell and back. You know, because people who just see beauty everywhere and are just living in la la land are not really like, you know, they're floating above everything and they're not getting it. At some point, you know, it's not gonna feel real, right? And very, very quickly you're gonna get a sense of that person. It's not gonna feel real. It's not that they don't feel real, and they might believe that everything's pretty and whatever, but they haven't, you know, you're gonna feel it. That's not you. You've got the depth to you. You've got everything to you. But you are here to see the beauty in absolutely everything, which means that you're exceptional channelers. You're also brilliant at whatever it is that you do in the creative sense. A lot of you are wordsmiths. However you see the world, whatever you write, and for you, you have a certain type of visualization. There is something about writing. I know some people say that if you write things down, if you script, it's easier for you to gain what it is that you want. You know, put it out there for law of attraction. And some people say if you verbalize it, you know, everything works differently for each and every person. You've just got to figure out what works for you, right? There's no one way of doing things. There's a million different ways, and everybody's saying the same thing on YouTube, really, at the end of the day. But if you find somebody who's really speaking to you, and they're giving you that information, and it's hitting home at that time, then that's it. That's all that's all there is. But for you, it's about the scripting. For you is really important. The writing, it's about putting down words. It's about putting down your story. So for a lot of you, it's about putting down your story in some ways, and that will look different to each and every one of you. Claiming your narrative in some way, but it's really important for you to do this because that's going to give clarity to you for the future. So let's see what else you have. So you have forgiveness under fear. And you have disruption under transformation. But no, this is something that we already knew. Letting go into, yeah. And you have partnership. Okay. And the Deer, gentleness, diplomacy. So this is really about you sort of surrendering to the process of who it is that you really are. This is about you really stepping into your role with the universe, with Mother Gaia, however you see it, but surrendering to the process of this is who I am, this is what I'm doing. I'm going to find beauty in absolutely everything that I do, including all aspects of yourself, bringing all of the aspects of yourself to the forefront. Really deep self-acceptance and saying this is who I am. But you're here to see the beauty in absolutely everything. You're also here to forgive all aspects of yourself. There's looking back into your past too. Some of you, and this may not be a message for all of you, but some of you are looking back and feeling a little bit, I can't believe I did that to myself, or I can't believe I let that happen, or I can't believe this, that, and the other. Please forgive yourself for whatever happened. And we want to step up and say how you do the forgiveness is completely up to you. But we want you to forgive yourself for being in that situation. We want you to really understand why you were there. You were just trying to be seen. You were looking for love, you know? So it's just a matter of who you put your trust in. And please forgive yourself for whatever situation that you went through, or whatever situation that you didn't feel as though you got in time, or how many times you went back, or whatever it is that you did. For some of you, again, it may not be a message for every single one of you, but that forgiveness leads the way. It's going to clear out some of that root, that cause root, and really give you that space to really move out and really displace this fear which is there. And again, it's not exactly fear. It's sort of the echo of the past. You know, sort of holding you back from this end transformation, knowing that at the end of the day, you can really have what you want. You can have what you want. You can be who you are. You can shine in who you are and be celebrated for exactly who you are. And you don't have to dumb yourself down. But it is a matter of having that partnership, surrendering to the universe. Surrendering to the universe means, first of all, that you have to claim that vision that you have, that beautiful vision. And as you claim that beautiful vision and you start to visualize, even if you're talented right now, which most of you are incredibly talented, the talent that you have right now is only the tip of the iceberg of what you will be able to achieve and how you will be able to articulate yourself once you create this beautiful space for yourself. And also what happens is, as you come out on the other side of this transformation, this incredible peace is in and around you because you've surrendered to the divine. You know at the end of the day that everything's going to be okay and that you're going to land on your feet. And more importantly, you know that no matter what, whatever you've chosen will be matched by the universe, and you're going to land on your feet in glorious, magical ways that you could never have imagined before, right? Now, before, you weren't working with the universe as much as you could because you had to close yourself off a little bit and you had to move through it, living in survival. You did what you needed to do. A lot of you did not have the kind of support that other people have. So you had to provide that support for yourself, and you had to teach yourself things that should have been taught to you. That's another reason why you cannot, as much as we can urge you to forgive, so much love in and around that, but also this real talk of just do it. You got to forgive yourself because you did the best you could in those circumstances. Other people would not have lived through some of the things that you've lived through, not having the guidance that you had. Some of you had very little guidance going in. So you did the best that you could. You've had to teach yourself some of the basic stuff, even about self-love and self-acceptance, that other people had in and around them, right? At least examples of it. You really didn't. You really, really didn't. So you had to do all of this work on your own while grounding into your own authenticity, while dealing with all of the karma that you have because you're very old souls, while dealing with all these soul contracts that you had to live. And on top of that, you're working with your family bloodline and moving through that and healing that. My goodness, can you forgive yourself now? I mean, what else do we need to say to you? You did an incredible amount of work, right? And not once did you ever crumble. And even if you did, you grew out of those ashes and you came up like that phoenix and you said, F it, I'm done. And I'm going to make the best of all of this, and I'm going to leave this situation, I'm going to do this. You did whatever you needed to do, and when you were ready to do it, you did it. You did it in that fire, and you never went back, right? So there's nothing for you to look back on and say, oops, should have gotten this sooner. No, absolutely not. You did the best that you could in that circumstances, so own it. Absolutely own it. And as you own it, it frees you up from that fear of moving forward. Because yeah, we're not going to lie to you. It's not going to look like anything you've ever seen before. You're on a brand new path. You're a brand new person. You're standing in your authenticity in a way that you've never done before. You're standing in your power in a way that you've never done that before. So no, you can't compare it to your past and what you've been through. So of course it's brand new. But you have to have faith that the universe is there to support you in every way, shape, or form. And at the same time, and more importantly, they're bringing you whomever you need to move forward in every way, shape, or form to support you. Okay, let's get on to your tarot now. We have so much from your oracle here. Beautiful. So let's see if we can get some deeper messages for you from our beautiful Lilith, who does not pull any punches, if you have not already figured out. So let's see what we've got in the tarot realm. Under letting go, yeah, you've got the Nine of Cups. That's it. That's your wish card. Everything that you wish for, and absolutely the Two of Pentacles. Now, I love the Two of Pentacles. The Two of Pentacles has been coming up in the collective too. I mentioned this in I think the very last reading to this one, where I actually talked about this on my Instagram, because it keeps coming up. This understanding of balance, of knowing who you are and being able to move forward in the way that you want to, but also knowing that you have the universe supporting you and protecting you in ways where you cannot fall out of the universe. A friend of mine, way back when I lived in New York, used to say, you know, you can't be nervous. You can't fall out of the universe. You just can't. You can feel lost, but you can't fall out of the universe. It keeps you there, right? So it's this really coming into this understanding of self, really moving into this active version of you, and claiming this vision that you have and this beauty, but also allowing this transformation to come in, but not expecting this to happen on your own, giving up some of that control for alignment and saying to the universe, I'm ready to do this. But at the same time, each and every one of you gets to say how you want to do this. You know, I'm nervous about this. I need X, Y, and Z help. I need you to help me in this way. I need this kind of support. You know, be expressive about what it is that you want. I mean, if you're with a partner and, you know, something isn't going right, if you're with the right partner, you know, these situations, you can have these heated situations, these conversations, but then you start talking about, all right, I'm asking this, this is happening. And then you start shifting and change. Oh, okay, I get it. And then you grow, right? This is the conversation with the universe. This is what I need right now. This is where I'm at. This is what I need to surrender. I need this to happen. I need this kind of support. You know, speak to them like, speak to the universe as if you're in love with them, right? Why not? And then you have the Four of Swords. And then finally you have the Five of Staves. So you're moving out of this understanding that, you know, in the past, you have this really practical version of self, some of you. This may not describe absolutely all of you, but some of you have this brilliant way of coming up with every single conclusion that can absolutely happen, even, you know, the absolute worst of what can happen, right? I'm going to move this aside. I want you to be able to see the cards properly. And it's not that you're all doom and gloom, far from it. It's just that you're used to doing things on your own and being highly contained and, you know, ultra independent. And you're very practical. So you want to see how, you know, the chips can fall and then just sort of be ready, right? That's perfectly reasonable. In many ways, what you've been through in the past has trained you to be this way, one way or another. So, you know, if you're trying to apply that here, again, it's not going to work, and it's just going to cause a little bit more confusion, and it's going to really make you not want to move forward or allow this transformation to move forward. And you can sense that this transformation is a little like everything, not like anything else that you've really been through. You've been through ups and downs, you've been through ascension processes, you've been sort of awakened, but you've never been so aligned with your own power before, where you can sense and feel your own power and realize at a very integral level and a very intimate level what it is that you can get in this lifetime. You can feel it. You can absolutely feel that everything that you've been waiting for is able to come to you. And yeah, it's frightening, right? Because you know, there's still a part of you that's that beautiful little dreamer that's like, yeah, let's do this, let's do that, but it was always on the horizon, right? It's actually there for you now. It's actually there for you. So of course you're a little bit like shitting it, right? That's totally understandable. But really at the end of the day, it's all about the claiming of who you are. And again, we'll come back to the crux of what we're saying, owning that beauty, owning the beauty in everything that you've been through, owning the beauty in every single experience that you've had in the life that you've led, owning the beauty that everything that you stand for, owning the beauty in every crescent of the world, every way that you see the world, in every crivet and every beauty and every crevice and, you know, whatever, everything, you know, because it's all beautiful. But at the same time, it's, you know, even the dark can be beautiful. Everything can be beautiful, right? But like, you know, but keeping yourself firmly grounded into your own being and into your own authenticity, so you don't go off, you know, everything's gorgeous and everybody thinks you're crazy. So coming into this understanding of yourself gives you this incredible amount of peace, because you're not constantly looking over your shoulder trying to ascertain when the shoe is going to drop or how you're going to prepare for this one disaster, which is obviously going to come up, right? Right. Well, here's the thing. What if there wasn't going to be that one disaster that came up? We can't guarantee. We're not going to sit here and tell you that nothing's ever going to go wrong again. I mean, you'll be in alignment with everything that you're doing in your life, and you'll deal with it completely differently. And the way in which you see these ups and downs will be completely different, rights and wrongs, or, you know, these things that are bad, you'll see them differently. But you know, what if there was just this openness? What if there was just this peace of knowing that everything was going to be okay, and everything is just exactly where it needs to be, and you don't have to go around arranging everything to make it so that you can walk on that path and make sure it's going to be okay. There's a lot of energy that you put into figuring out all of your path before you actually walk it. And by the time you actually walk it, you're so bloody exhausted, you need to sleep for a week. And then you just, you know, and then you lose like, oh, I don't know if I want to do it, you know? So what if you didn't have to figure out every single one of your moves before you walk down that path? What if you just trusted that path was exactly the path that you needed to be in, because of the beauty that you have, the alignment that you have with the universe, and the fact that you're working in tandem with the universe in a surrendering process that you've never had before, right? And really understanding and taking it into every cell in your body that every experience, every conversation, everything that you've ever been through has prepared you for this moment. You cannot go wrong. You cannot fail. You cannot fail. Failing is a capitalist term. It's rubbish. It doesn't exist, right? It doesn't exist. It really doesn't. Even everybody, Fortune 500 companies, you ask them failure. If something didn't work out, they got up the next day and they did something different. There is no failure. There's just learning. There's moments for learning, right? So take failure off the table. You can't. Nothing that you are doing or are about to really integrate in is not going to not do well. It's going to be brilliant. You're going to be fine. And you can have the life that you want, but you have to put yourself in that position to claim it. So that's what you get from that transformation. You get a beautiful life if you want it. And it's something that you honestly have been working really hard for. So the way in which you claim it will be different for each and every one of you. But the time, without a shadow of a doubt, is now. I mean, you've got the 9 of Cups. Your wishes come true. That's it. You've got the Queen of Cups. You've got all of your experiences here coming in, creating this moment for you. Again, not for you to try and ascertain what's going to happen in the future and exhaust yourself, but to work in tandem with the universe in a brand new way and say, help me here. What's my next step? You do it, you know, but at the same time, taking responsibility for your own energy. You know, and I've said on this channel before, whatever energy you put out, the universe matches, right? So you've absolutely got this. So it's just a matter of physically moving forward. Yeah, it's a matter of taking that divine masculine energy and really rooting down and saying, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. You know, and, you know, we're not saying to do anything that makes you feel uncomfortable. Not at all. Again, work with the universe the way in which you want to. It's really important. And ask them for specific help and specific guidance that you need at this time. But yeah, you have the understanding. You have everything that you need. And it's not even building a future necessarily, right? It's not even about you building a future. You built it. It's about claiming the future that you've built. You know, this isn't like really starting from the beginning. You've been planting seeds your entire life. This is about, and you've watered them your own way. Sometimes you've watered them with tears, but you watered them, right? This is about claiming the life that you have. And all you need to do is physically claim it. So come back to the beauty. Come back to the beauty of it, because it's going to seem less intimidating. Come back to you. Come back to the beauty. Come back to your words. Come back to who you are. Come back to, you know, the words and the beauty and the art. Whatever it is that brings you back to you and reminds you of why you're here. If it's nature, that's great. If it's a good book, it's the way you write. It's the way the sun sets. Whatever it is, it sounds cheesy, but find whatever it is that works for you. How you identify with beauty and integrate that into the sort of the lower levels of your fear, sort of plant that there. And then as you move up and you start building this relationship very, very quickly with the universe, it's just a matter of sort of releasing into it rather than building. You've built the relationship, releasing into it, and then claim what it is that you're here to get. And it could be anything. Again, it could be anything. There's a magical life on the other side of that veil. Now, before it used to be a door and you had that door closed and the universe was knocking. Now the door is gone. It's just a veil. You can see through it. You can sense it. You've been sensing it for months, even up to 3 months. You know, you can sense everything that you want is on the other side of it. And you know that the minute you surrender, you're going to be able to get it. And you also know that whatever it is that's coming into your life, in a secured way, because you don't have to worry about how it shows up or if it's going to be the right, you're going to feel it. You know, if it doesn't feel right for you, there's another opportunity coming in. Again, work with your alignment, work with your intuition at all costs. But again, and don't dumb yourself down. Whatever's coming, you know, coming to you, remember, work with the highest field that you have, with the universe, with your higher self. You want to work with the higher self, what's best for you, what's best for the collective. And then, you know, you're not going to go down the rabbit hole of working with the wrong people and just not having a good time. You don't have to worry about any of that. Your heart is pure. Your intentions are pure. You've got this. And that's the energy you're putting out there, purity. You know that you're not here for like $1 million. That's not to say that you don't want it. And that's not to say that you don't deserve it. That's not to say that you won't get it. You'll get the money as a byproduct of what you do, but you know the money instinctively is not going to make you happy. But what you can do with it will, you know. But you're here for something larger. You're here for something, but the money doesn't hurt, right? Doesn't hurt. Why not? You know, but you're not actually aiming for the money. You're aiming for something larger. You're aiming for that beauty, and the rest of it comes. And actually, the more you aim for that beauty, the more money will come, right? It's a byproduct. It's just the way it's going to happen. So it's all ready for you now for this beautiful transformation. So, and that peace on the other side of it too, knowing that you're looked after and protected, not having to look over your shoulder all the time, trying to figure stuff out. You've got this. You've absolutely got this. So this is what we have for you on beautiful Lilith. We want to thank Lilith for coming in for this reading. We want to thank you for being here. We are sending you so much love and support for exactly who you are and where you are in the world right now. Stay yourself. Go be you, and just have some fun with all of this too. Just have some fun. Because as I say, enlighten up, get out there. There's no reason to over focus. Just as you release and let go, you know, things can become lighter in a really, really good way. So until we meet again, pile 2, all you Lilithites, we'll see you soon. Lovelies, for all of you, pile 3, for all of you who chose Mary Magdalene, these are her messages to you. We're going to start off with the oracle and then move on to our Lady Oracle. Actually, it's the Goddess Oracle. The Goddess Tarot, one of my favorite tarots to work with. Actually, I think it was one of the first tarot that I started reading with in public anyway. I mean, in this country. I grew up reading with just regular playing cards when I was a kid. I mean, my mother was very open to stuff, but she's not going to give me tarot cards at age 5, you know. So here we have, so you have Harmony and Resolution is your first card. Beautiful angel there. You have Transformation. I love this. This always reminds me of RuPaul. This Transformation card, I just love it. And then Take Charge and Action. And then you have Earth and Ground. Okay, so let's... so as always, you know, reading from the collective with what's going on too, so we can give you the best advice that we can give you. And also pile 1 and pile 2, very different energies, but you know, there's usually some overlap one way or another. Take Charge and Action, Transformation, Harmony and Resolution, and Earth and Ground. So you're being asked to make a choice here, pile 3, to choose in any direction, right? Also being told that whatever you choose, you know, with your intuition and in alignment, will be perfect for you. Now, for some of you, it's a career. For some of you, it's moving out of a situation. For some of you, it's moving to a new house. It's something, right? But you're being asked to earth and ground. Now, for some of you, it's about being in a situation that you have outgrown. You've completely outgrown it. There's absolutely no qualms about it. You're done. It's over, right? And you're not going to be able to make it work anymore, but you're not quite at the next level of what it is that you want to do. So, but you're in a position to be able to choose, and you're being asked to choose something, right? And put your whole heart into it. And here's the reason why. Now, that can shift and change, and you can always say to the universe, you know, level up. This is what I've got for you. Bring back something else for me. As long as it's in my higher self, whatever it is works out for me, this, that, and the other. And whatever the universe brings to you may look a little strange on the platter where it's delivered to you initially, but it'll end up being the right thing for you, right? But you're being asked to make a decision first, to put your 2 feet right into this and say, I choose this. And then the universe can deliver something to you. Right now, you've already acknowledged, for a lot of you, you've acknowledged, for some of you, you know what it is. You know what it is that you've grown out of, and it's just a matter of, all right, I'm going to do it. But for some of you, you've already acknowledged that you're out of that, but you're not in the new thing yet. And some of you could get really, not worried, but like sort of caught up in like, what's next, what's next, what's next. Choose something, but choose it with 100% of your heart and soul. Just don't do it willy-nilly. No wishy-washy. I think I want to do this, whatever. Just choose it. And then be clear with the universe that if you've got something else for me, level it up, right? Because some of you are like, I'm not sure if this is the right choice that I'm choosing. That's totally fine. But what you need to do is move away from the energy, right? You've already acknowledged that the energy isn't working for you anymore. So what you need is some kind of movement forward so you don't feel as though you're in this loop. So choose something. And once you're clear with the universe, they will provide something. But you've got to put something out on the table for the universe to come in and meet you halfway, right? So as with pile 1 and pile 2, you're going through this kind of transformation. And as you've moved out of something, there's this liberation. There's an energy of liberation that's in and around you, right? But then you've realized that as you've sort of shed the old, you've come to this plateau where everything that you want seems quite big, right? But you're wondering if you can actually reach for it, if you're actually being able to do it. And the answer is yes, without a shadow of a doubt. The harmony and resolution ground into this understanding that you were here to do whatever it is that you want. You're here to do it without a shadow of a doubt. And it's just a matter of believing that no matter what, right? You're absolutely, don't even let doubt in there. It doesn't matter. Now, it's going to look different when it's presented to you. And again, once you're working with the alignment of the universe, you're always leveling up and going for the highest version of what it is that you want. And I always say to the universe, this is what I think I want, but if you've got something better for me, let's do it, right? Let's do it. Because I don't want to settle for anything. This is a situation where you don't want to settle for anything anymore. You're not doing that. And this isn't really a time in your life where you need to move incrementally, just a little bit. We'll get this and then we'll build on that. And we'll build. You've been building your entire life. This is the time to go bold. Go for it. You've got it. If this is in alignment with your soul, you've been working toward all of this most of your life. So this is time to sort of claim it, claim your gifts, and moving forward in this energy and saying, this is exactly what I'm going to do. Again, level up. If you've got something better for me, that's fine. But making that decision gives you that peace and that harmony, because you know that energy is out there and you'll be able to move forward, right? So if any of you have been feeling a little bit stuck, been feeling sort of in that void, energy where you're sort of in that womb energy, which can be really comforting and really wonderful for you, because the void energy gets you ready for something big, right? But sometimes when when you've been in that void energy for a little too long, you get a little lethargic. You get, I don't know how to work anymore. I don't know how I'm doing this. So this is a time to level up in this way. So this is courage and bravery, absolutely. And then you've got vulnerability and freedom, gorgeousness, and opportunity and change. All of this is ready for you. Now, the courage and bravery you do have, right? And the way in which, now with pile 2 with Lilith, there's something right at the core that brings you in and allows for all of this to sort of happen sort of a little bit freer. And for them, it was beauty. For you, it's vulnerability, right? Being accessible. Your freedom will come from vulnerability, from really admitting what happened to you, really admitting what's happened, really owning your narrative in this new way. Yeah, this happened, and really feel it. You're being asked. Now, we're not telling you to go back into everything that you've ever been through and drag it all up again. After you finish this reading, call up your therapist and, all right, we're going to go at it. We're going to go full throttle for 6 months. We got a lot of stuff going on here. No, that's the opposite of what we're saying, right? But go back to everything that you've been through and just honor everything and let that energy really sort of integrate into your soul, so you can feel how strong you've been, everything that you've been through, and honor the process of you living in this lifetime. Because everything that you've been through, and there's been so much of it, I can feel like the heart chakra sort of opening. There's been so much of it, and there's so much empathy, and there's so much beauty in your soul, where a lot of people in your position with everything that you've been through would have either crumbled by now or turned into really nasty, like bitter, judgmental, this, that, and the other. And we're not judging them. It's totally understandable, considering everything that you've been through. It's an absolute complete miracle that you're not like that. Now, you have these moments where you go into it, and that's fine. You pull yourself out of it. That's fine. But at your core, that's not who you are. It's made you into this absolutely gorgeous divine being, right? And that doesn't happen to everybody. It happens to you because you're an alchemist and you've learned how to transmute that. So what we're saying is there's a certain amount of leverage that you're going to get, a certain amount of freedom that you're going to be able to really feel and integrate on a new level with this sort of heart space of opening up this heart. And I always think of, because we've got Mary Magdalene here with us, I always think of Mary Magdalene. She usually comes with readings when I channel her. She usually comes in with Jesus, of course. But, you can channel her on her own, but she usually comes in, and it's always the heart chakra that comes in with these two, with the Christ consciousness too. And owning your vulnerability, owning everything that you've been through brings you into this real sort of gorgeousness where you can claim this freedom from your past in sort of a brand new way, and really honor the person that you've become and everything that you've gone through. And also it's sort of this divine nature of really integrating this Christ consciousness energy, which is in and around you and ready to be integrated, right? Now, it does take a little bit of courage and bravery because, I think you have this in common, maybe with Pal 2, but probably with Pal 1 too. This is a brand new sort of beginning for you in a way. You've never really been here before. Wherever you are right now in your life has never really looked the same. Even though as you look around your walls or you look around at certain things in your life and you think, all right, well, bank account stuff hasn't really changed. This hasn't really changed. Tangibly, if you look at the practical elements of it, on paper, it may feel as though things haven't really shifted that much, but so much has shifted within you. It's almost like the wheel of fortune. It's done a 180. So much has shifted within you, right? And it's just a matter of like turning that light completely on and then going for whatever it is that you want. And the opportunity and the change is absolutely there for you. The transformation is already happening. It's just a matter of how you step into it. Earthing and grounding would be great for you too. A little bit of remnants left over from the first chakra also, just, that profound healing that you have. And again, don't go down the rabbit hole. There's not a lot of shadow work. There's not a lot of, if you feel as though you need to call somebody to help you through that, that's fine, but it's not necessary to call your psychotherapist and go through all of this again, or any of that stuff. But there is something in the first chakra that can be really utilized and can really sort of been instigated or triggered in a good way. Sort of this catalyst in your first chakra that can lead you to freedom once you sort of look back on your life and really honor everything that you've been through. So when I grew up in London originally, and then I moved to Ireland, I moved to Dublin, so my accent's all over the place. But they used to have this really old show. I mean, even when I was little, it was really old. Like, I think it was from the 70s or something. And it was This Is Your Life. And they would bring up, and they'd always do it to Elwins, to older people, right? And it was always TV personalities, and they would bring up them on stage. It's a whole program based on them, and bring up absolutely everybody that's ever been in their lives, and each person talks about their story, and at the end of it they give them this book and it says, "This is your life." I don't know what's in the book, probably nothing, but it's all for TV. But you can imagine it for you, looking back on your life. This is your life, and it's a celebration of everything that you've been through. So again, not going through the agony of everything, but celebrating all the wisdom and the nuggets of wisdom and the pearls of wisdom and everything that you've been through. But honoring that process, honoring your life as a process, and really integrating that and honoring every part of you really makes you click in to this vulnerability. And from that vulnerability, you have this freedom that you've never had before. So even if everything looks the same on paper, it really isn't. You are a completely different person. And this person that you have become, that you are already, even though you're in the midst of some kind of transformation, you are already this person. And we want to be clear, you're never going to be able to go back. You can't go back. You can never go backwards, right? You can't unknow what you already know. So it's never going to get bad like it was before. It's not going to go back in any way. You never have to worry about any of that, right? But even in this moment, even in this midst of transformation, you can bring in anything that you want. You can bring in any person, visualize anything. You can change your life on a whim now. But for, like we said, Paul 2, it was about beauty. For you, it's about vulnerability, owning that vulnerability and really finding strength in that vulnerability. That gives you the courage and the bravery to stand in your authenticity and own every aspect of everything that you've been through, and say, this is why I am who I am. And who you are is absolutely incredible. So I have a little bit, just got a little, again, that always happens with the heart chakra. When I work with Mary Magdalene, not that, Hecate's never made me cry. That's very different. So ground into your energy. And as you ground into that energy, as you ground into that freedom, there's a new sense of that first chakra working for you. So you feel protected out into the world. You feel guided and you feel protected. You haven't always felt protected. You haven't always felt guided. You've had very powerful guides, without a shadow of a doubt. And this you've always sensed. but you may not have worked with them, though, you know, they were always protecting you. But this is a way for you to really click into that energy in such a gorgeous way. And we haven't even gone into, my goodness, we haven't even gone into your beautiful tarot yet, using the Goddess Tarot here today. So I'm feeling 5 cards for you here for the tarot. But yeah, beautiful times for you too. And just really honoring your sensitive, beautiful heart. You know, you can be tough when you need to be, you know. I definitely wouldn't want to piss you off, but there's that tenderness that you can really own in a new way too, which will come out of this. Absolutely 3 of Staves. Looking, yeah, and this is a gorgeous thing too, realizing that, you know, whatever held you back before can't hold you back, can't hold you back again. You know, the mind, the way in which you work with the mind now, the way in which you work with the ego, it doesn't come in and control you anymore. It doesn't tell you the same narrative anymore, because once you've clicked into your own version of the narrative and you've let it all go and you're honoring it. It's like they're giving you, this is your life. You know, they're giving you the book. It's done. So, you know, none of that negativity has any hold on you anymore. And whatever it is that you've been looking for, whatever it is that you've been searching for, is ready for you. Now, you will do this on your own terms. You've got the 10 of Cups. That's beautiful. And you've got the King of Swords moving in too. You have this authority to you, the way in which you articulate yourself. It's true, a clear channel. You know who you are, and you don't have to beat yourself down or dumb yourself down anymore to fit into certain circumstances, which will fit into every circumstance one way or another. But this is, you can have what you want. You can have the community, you can have the love, you know, you can have the success, you know, the absolute balance of everything that you want. You have the health, you know, the friendship, whatever it is, the soul family coming in, but you will do it in your own way. You will always do it in your own way. You're not gonna, you know, it's obvious that you're not going to do it the same way that everybody else has done. Again, so, you know, there's no comparing yourself to anybody else's beauty of their path. And, you know, and a lot of people say, a lot of mentors say, you know, look at somebody who have sort of made it, somebody that you admire, and see how they've done it. You know, there's a million different people out there that you think are great. But there's there's nobody that you really go, oh, I kind of want that career. I want to see how they did it. There's no one, you know, because anyone that you really truly admire, you know that, you know, the energy's brought in whatever it is that they wanted, and they've aligned themselves with their own power, and they're out there doing it. So there's no marketing construct for you. That's not to say that if you don't want to take it, you don't want to do it. That's great. But whatever work that you do on the interior, it's going to be the most powerful work that you do. And it's going to really put you out there in such a beautiful way. You're going to be creating that beautiful content. You're going to be attracting people based on who you are, and it won't take long for that spotlight for you to reach those heights. So, you know, doing things the way in which you want to do it, as long as you're listening to your intuition and really working with the alignment, and really, really working with that freedom that you've gained through that vulnerability, and staying open and staying with that heart chakra. There's really nothing that you can't do. So whatever it is that you're choosing, right? Choose something. Choose something. Again, you have the chance to level up at any time, but choose something. And for those of you who already know what you want, this is the time to go get it. But, you know, for those of you who are ready, because you know that wherever you are doesn't, you know, you worlds away, you're done with it. That's fine. The next thing is ready for you to come in. It's ready for you to come in. Absolutely. So you do have the strength here. So the courage and the bravery comes from honoring, again, your past, honoring that beautiful vulnerability that brings in that freedom, and also articulating that vulnerability, not just keeping it to yourself. The more open you are, right? So we say in writing, because most of you probably know I'm a writer too, you know, the more personal you get, the more personal you get with your own story, the more universal it is, and it becomes less lonely, right? I've written so many things that, you know, at the time, it really didn't seem like, you know, it would be too much to sort of open it, because it was really my story. But it almost becomes the story of the collective. You know, it doesn't become that anymore. So the more vulnerable, the more open you stay, And there's no need for protection anymore. The protection is in and around you. That's not to say that you don't need boundaries. And when the boundaries come in, you'll need them. You'll know them. That's something that you've been working on. You've come too far for this. Not to be able to use those boundaries, and the way in which you articulate yourself with those boundaries will be absolutely delightful too. Even when you are not upsetting somebody, but even when you're sort of putting somebody in their place, it will still be brilliant. You've got that Oscar Wilde essence to you, right? So for those of you who are feeling as though, a little bit lost, don't feel as though they have that strength, you do. A little bit of that courage and bravery just comes from owning that vulnerability. It leads into freedom. And that really comes into that first chakra of feeling protected and knowing that in any way, shape, or form, whatever you choose, it's going to be fine. Even if it's in a direction, then you're taking off in a different direction, that's fine. Always listen to your intuition and make sure that you're aligned. You're doing the alignment and not pushing for something just because you need to move forward. Choose something initially, absolutely, but the follow through needs to be in alignment. So this articulation that you have and moving into really securing your voice in this world, your authenticity in this world, absolutely on your own terms, which means on your own terms as we define it. It's got nothing to do with the external world. It's just you. It's almost like you in this bubble, but you're not in this bubble like, oh, I don't know what's going on. You're just in this bubble going, this is me. That's it. Take me or leave me. That's totally fine. And for you being a sensitive soul, this is a long time coming. This is a long time coming, and it always was going to come from honoring your soul and everything that you've been through. And you've been through a lot of stuff, and a lot of stuff that you've been through in the past too had something to do with not just karma, but also with past lives playing out, also the echoes of that. So there's a lot of different levels that you've been playing out of, but that you've been playing out and that you've seen. So you've seen a lot of different things, you've experienced a lot of different things, and still kept that empathy. And for a lot of you, that dark sense of humor, which has kept you going, right? So remember, do things on your own terms, absolutely. There's opportunity and changes right there, earthing into that first chakra as you really pull into honoring yourself, honoring that vulnerability and coming into that freedom. Again, the way in which your mind tried to work against you doesn't need to do that anymore. So if it starts coming up with old habits, that's good. We don't need to do that. And whatever it is that you want on the other side of this transformation, which is already happening, right? It's coming in. So stay in that articulation, stay in that knowledge that you can have exactly what you want. This is not about dumbing yourself down or seeing what comes up and taking what comes up for the hell of it. Not at all. This is staying in your power and saying, what else have you got, universe? Let's level up. Let's do this. Because everything that you've done has reached to this conclusion. So this is something that you can really claim on your own terms and say, I'm ready. So healing, a huge amount of healing from the past as we clear up a lot of the old energy from the past that's been lingering, which is happening for you. Some of the things can really clear up for you health-wise. Again, always seek doctor's opinion. We're certainly not saying that, this is what we are here. Always do that. But some of these things, when they've had the space to be able to clear, can just sort of mysteriously kind of go off. You don't need them anymore, right? Because it's disease. It's being not at ease with aspects of yourself as you come in and you own that vulnerability. There's no reason for it to be there anymore. So stay in that courage. You have so much bravery, you have so much strength, so much beauty, and such a tender-hearted person for everything that you've been through, that gloriousness around you. And even though that Christ consciousness energy is in and around you with that heart chakra and coming into with the third eye, with our beautiful Mary Magdalene, there's also elemental energies and that real integration with your beautiful inner child coming into with that joyful moving forward and just being exactly who you are. So that's wonderful. Pile 3, we're going to thank our Mary Magdalene coming into, and of course Jesus, because they usually come in as a beautiful couple. So we're sending you so much support for exactly who you are and where you are in the world. Go be you, shine your beautiful light exactly the way that you want to. And we are sending you again so much light and love. And until we meet again, take care. Bye-bye.